Here we go, man. Here we go. Here's the blog. All right, the much anticipated. Obviously, this is part of a an ongoing blogality. Just like we live a life one day at a time. This is pretty much the same deal here with World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor. And this is step one in a multi-step process of blogality. So we're going to talk. We're going to look at what exactly came out tonight and discuss a bit, obviously not exactly what we were all hoping for. We were hoping for beta, right? Let's get serious. We were all hoping for the beta, but got the PTR change cap on, so we're going to look through some of the stuff. Basically, a few main tenements here. This is all in the description if you guys want to read it, but basically we talk about the stat squish, right? Stuff we already know. Now, I already wrote an article on the stat squish. Let's have a look at these images. Basically, this is what they're saying here. So, like, it's gonna be even more accessible than we expected. That's what to take out of this, this article about the stat squish. It's gonna be even better. All right, even better than we expected, which is hard to expect. But they said it's gonna be. Let's see. I'll quote. Okay, making it so all specializations will scale at the same rate. That's obviously important. They're removing base damage on spells. Further scaling of your power against low-level targets. All right, so that's another thing people are complaining about. Oh, I'm not going to be able to solo MC. You'll still be able to solo MC. Don't you worry, buddy. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. We'll get you through it. If not, I'll help you solo Ani. So that's kind of pretty much a no-go there. Nothing really changing. Nothing big. Racial traits. I guess I wouldn't call this news. I'm not really sure. Maybe if you're deaf or blind, you're not aware that some racial traits are going away. So they're talking about like what they're going to do. And basically what they're trying to do here is they're trying to compensate for ones that are over the top. Like the troll racial. Okay, do you understand how good that one was? It was overpowered. In TOT, the troll racial was like a good 5% ahead every other racial because there was so many beasts. There's like 7 beast bosses. And it as they explain here, let's see. Their beast slaying passive was either completely irrelevant or tremendously powerful. Based on the situation, obviously, right? That makes complete sense. It was completely overpowered. I remember Morgraine switching, and on some fights he'd be doing like 20k more DPS than the melee, and then other fights he'd be doing less DPS. You know what I mean? So it was all the racial. They're going to be changing racials. Nothing to announce once again. So it's more just news. It's like what do you call that? When you build a house, you lay the foundation like this. You see this? This is what you do. You do this foundation. Scrape by. You scrape the foundation. You make the mortar, right? You don't put the house on mud. What are you, stupid? You wouldn't do that. You would build a foundation, and that's what we're doing right now. And then ability pruning. I'm not a big fan of the tartness, but pruning is pretty important for a video game like World of Warcraft. Obviously, got a lot of abilities, and even as healers, obviously healers probably have the least abilities that they need in PvE. PvP, much different, surely, but I'd imagine like a lot of DPS specs. I bet like Rogue probably has just just abilities that you need to have keybound, but you'll never actually use. And that's exactly what they're saying. So we decided, highlighted there, we decided that we needed to prune down the number of abilities available to each class and spec in order to remove some of the unnecessarily unnecessary complexity. Unnecessary complexity. I can't read. But anyway, focus up. So there we go. Moving some abilities. We could all speculate on what we're thinking. Probably like old abilities like renew, maybe I don't know. I don't want to start that speculation here, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, the one thing that we are going to talk about here, this is pretty big. This is like pretty real announcement here. Crowd control and diminishing return. All right, I'm going to read this out to you. This is also obviously in the description. You can click it out yourself, but long story short, here we go. Removed silence effect from interrupt. Silence effects still exist, but never attached to an interrupt. That's a good thing, although I'm going to miss it for tanking. Removes all disarms. I don't know how many classes still have disarms, but it was kind of like in between stuff that I was never really that interested in. Reduces the number of diminishing returns. Categories. The diminishing return categories. Understand that, right? With one exception, charge routes is not part of it. Who cares? All stuns now share the same DR category. That's pretty important, I would say. All incapacitate, sometimes called mesmerize, effects now share the same DR category and have been merged with the horror DR category. Also pretty important. Okay, removed the ability to make cast time CC instant with a cooldown. So no more palm sheep. I don't know. I don't even know what other abilities are out there, but that alone, I mean, the fact that you could now pretty much always stop a CC from going out is probably much better if I cared, but I couldn't give a fuck about PvP. Anyway, JK, let's keep moving. Removed many CC spells entirely. Increased the cooldowns and restrictions on others. Here, and there's a few lists, but let's think about what this means, right? So there's just too much CC, right? I don't even do PvP, and I know this. It's just annoying. Like, the 4 times I've ever done PvP and MOP, it's just been like, all right, I'm going on. Oh, I'm CC'd. Okay, I'm a sheep. Oh, well, I've trinked that. All right. Oh, I'm feared. I've ran all the way across the world. Hold on, let me get back. Oh, I'm in a cyclone. How do you get out of cyclone? Psy? Oh, you can't. Okay. I'm roots. I freed him. All right, I'm out. But I'm sheeped again for some reason. Oh my god, what the hell? And it's over. It's just terrible. That's just how it is. So let's talk about the specifics. Petcast CC is now more limited, and in many cases has been removed. Hopefully that fucking Warlock Shiva thing that just like goes like that to you, and you're like, ah, you know what I mean? You're just asleep. That's stupid. I hate that thing. Get that thing out of there. Cyclone can now be dispelled by immunities and mass dispel. Why did this have to take this long to happen? Cyclone's retarded. I'm glad that's the case. PvP trinkets now grant immunity to reapplication of an effect from the same spell cast when they break abilities with persistent effects. Solar Beam. What other abilities are there like this? There's probably more. Maybe Fist of Fury. Probably a good example. If you are being punched like this and you trinket it, and then you get punched right again, you're still going to be stunned, aren't you? So that's probably one of them. And then long fears are now shorter in PvP due to the added benefit of a fear changing the player's position. I don't PvP, like I said, but Siler has been doing it a lot, and it's so all I fucking hear him bitch about is fear. So I'm congratulations, Siler. You have succeeded in your crusade. But anyway, they're also going to significantly reduce the number of throughput, increasing cooldowns, and procs in order to further reduce burst damage. Which, whatever, we'll see how that works for PvE. Obviously, the only thing I really care about. But this is pretty much all the news for this. So if you guys have any questions, please, once again, only in French. All right, only addressing questions in French. But otherwise, we're hoping for a beta. So if you guys want to do, if you guys are like religious, if you guys want to say a prayer before you go to sleep about beta, that would be much guando.